Recently, a blog post about the permanent closure of the SAIC Volkswagen factory has gained attention. On September 12, 2024, auto blogger Yu Jianyue wrote, "Looking back with deep emotions at the moment when SAIC Volkswagen's first factory stopped production, it was not just a factory, but a symbol of an era." Lately, keywords like Shanghai, Volkswagen, foreign capital withdrawal, and unemployment have frequently appeared on China's trending topics. There's information indicating that SAIC Volkswagen's first factory stopped production 2 years ago, and the second factory has reduced production, with plans to shut it down by the end of this year. Currently, they are also planning to close an assembly plant in Nanjing. With Volkswagen shutting down 3 factories in a row, it's hard not to wonder, is Volkswagen, one of the earliest foreign car giants to enter China, preparing to completely exit the country? SAIC Volkswagen's headquarters is located in Anting, Jiading District, in Shanghai's northwest suburbs, within the Shanghai International Automobile City. At its peak, SAIC Volkswagen operated 6 factories in Shanghai, including Anting Factory 1, 2, and 3, as well as 3 engine plants. From 2015 to 2018, SAIC Volkswagen led the Chinese market in sales for 4 consecutive years. The period from 2016 to 2019 was a golden era for the company, with annual sales exceeding 2 million vehicles for 4 straight years. However, starting in 2020, the 3 years of pandemic lockdowns led to a prolonged economic downturn in China, severely impacting the auto industry. SAIC Volkswagen's first factory, Anting Factory No. 1, which produced China's first iconic car model, ceased production in July 2022 after nearly 40 years of operation. A related individual lamented, "Nearly 40 years of history, gone just like that." Insiders revealed that SAIC Volkswagen took a very low-key approach to shutting down Anting Factory No. 1, following a gradual process, first merging shifts during the pandemic, and then gradually phasing out operations until it was permanently closed around July. Netizens lamented, "The permanent closure of SAIC Volkswagen's first factory marks the end of an era." According to insiders, SAIC Volkswagen's second factory has already reduced production and may also face closure or restructuring. Last year, several employees at SAIC Volkswagen confirmed that the second factory had combined shifts and reduced output. Based on internal company information, there's a high likelihood that the third factory will also begin combining shifts in the latter half of this year, though no official announcement has been made yet. Recently, Bloomberg reported that SAIC Volkswagen plans to close its plant in Nanjing, Jiangsu next year. This plant mainly produces Passat and Skoda models and has an annual production capacity of 360,000 vehicles. Additionally, it has been reported that this closure plan will be gradually implemented starting in 2024, with the complete shutdown expected by the end of 2025. Bloomberg pointed out that the shutdown could happen within the next few months, as the decline in gasoline-powered vehicles continues to worsen. Volkswagen may not rule out closing more factories in China if this trend persists. Over the past 2 years, SAIC Volkswagen has issued several statements during the process of closing its factories, emphasizing that the closures are not permanent and are based on new corporate strategies and product layouts, while avoiding sensitive terms like divestment. With the rapid development of new energy vehicles in China, the market share for traditional gasoline cars has shrunk significantly. As a result, many conventional gasoline car manufacturers are facing overcapacity, and SAIC Volkswagen is no exception. In 2020, SAIC Volkswagen sales plummeted to 1.5 million vehicles, and in the following 3 years, they sold 1.24 million, 1.32 million, and 1.21 million vehicles respectively. Data shows that last year, SAIC Volkswagen planned for a production capacity of 2.08 million vehicles, but actual output was only 1.2 million, with a capacity utilization rate of just 58%. This means nearly 900,000 units of production capacity were idle, which is closely tied to poor sales performance. As one of the first joint ventures to enter China, SAIC Volkswagen's recent moves have triggered concern among industry insiders and those closely monitoring the situation. Under the CCP's strong push for new energy vehicles, China's auto industry is facing severe overcapacity. In April this year, U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen and German Chancellor Olaf Scholz both visited China and raised concerns about the country's automotive overcapacity. However, the CCP has denied these claims. Due to this overcapacity, competition between Chinese car manufacturers has intensified, sparking a fierce price war. This price war officially began in early 2023 and has only escalated since then. In fact, many new energy vehicle companies, heavily supported by the CCP, have long been operating at a loss. On September 23rd, the China Automobile Dealers Association released a report stating that they had submitted an urgent request to government departments, warning that the price war had caused many dealerships to face financial strain. According to monitoring data, by August this year, the price war has led to cumulative retail losses in the new car market of up to 138 billion yuan, about $19.6 billion US dollars. Taiwanese financial expert Huang Shicong noted that the Chinese car market is highly competitive, and car prices have been dropping sharply since last year. The main reason for this is China's automotive overcapacity, where supply far exceeds demand. Additionally, China's ability to export cars has been hindered by Western countries, leaving the surplus capacity trapped in the domestic market and further fueling fierce competition. Huang Shicong stated, "In this context, automakers naturally see the prospects of manufacturing cars in China as bleak." He added that with a decline in Chinese citizens' incomes, the more they're inclined to buy cheaper domestic cars rather than the more expensive foreign brands. He concluded, "In this scenario, foreign car companies are left with no choice but to retreat or risk getting caught up in China's brutal price war, which could lead to an even worse outcome in the future." Germany's three luxury car brands, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, and Audi, are also seeing their price structures collapse in the Chinese market. BMW's prices have been slashed in half, Mercedes models have seen sharp drops, and some Audi models are now priced below 200,000 yuan. These traditional luxury brands are losing their value in China's market. A financial analyst from Shanghai pointed out, in today's environment, SAIC Volkswagen is at a disadvantage in China's auto market compared to Germany's three major luxury brands and other high-end imports. Its pricing is being crushed by China's government-subsidized NEVs. Positioned as a mid-range brand, SAIC Volkswagen primarily produces low to mid-tier models. With such narrow profit margins, it's difficult for the company to compete in China's price war. BMW can afford to cut prices in half a few times, and Huawei's electric vehicles can sell at a loss of 30,000 yuan per unit thanks to government subsidies. SAIC Volkswagen, however, finds itself in a very awkward position, making withdrawal an inevitable, albeit reluctant, decision. Aside from SAIC Volkswagen, several other joint venture car manufacturers have also announced factory closures and layoff plans in China. For instance, Dongfeng Honda plans to close a factory with an annual capacity of 240,000 vehicles this November. In June of this year, Dongfeng Nissan already shut down a small factory in Changzhou, Jiangsu. In recent years, China's economy has been sluggish, unemployment has risen sharply, and there has been an increase in social unrest. Recently, in Shenzhen and Suzhou, a series of horrific incidents occurred where innocent Japanese children were harmed, with some even losing their lives. The Chinese government has refused to disclose any information about the perpetrators or their motives. Some analysts believe that these acts are part of a sinister retaliation by the CCP against Japanese companies, such as Panasonic, as they withdraw their investments from China. They suspect this is a premeditated and organized crime by the CCP, aiming to intimidate foreign investors and prevent further withdrawals. For more details, check out our related video. These events have sparked outrage among the Japanese public and driven many Japanese companies to initiate large-scale withdrawal. Up to hundreds of Japanese companies in China are urgently consulting legal services regarding the closure or deregistration of their China-based operations, leading to a surge in business for Chinese law firms. A user on X recently posted, "Breaking news, according to a Chinese employee at Mitsubishi Heavy Industries, all Japanese colleagues have applied to return to Japan." This indicates that the murder of the Japanese boys has filled the Japanese community in China with fear and anxiety. Many netizens left comments in Chinese. Finally realized, huh? You turn them into enemies to shift the blame, but then expect them to help you advance your technology? How can the CCP get all the benefits? If it were me, I'd definitely return home. Japanese guests, please return home. China is full of disputes, not fit for a long stay. Staying any longer would put your life at risk, and not just for the kids. Oh no, how will I get my central air conditioner serviced in the future? Are we heading back to the days of starvation? According to international media reports, this withdrawal of Japanese capital from China may trigger a historic wave of exits, with companies from Europe, the US, South Korea, and Taiwan expected to follow suit. This could lead to unprecedented unemployment in China. Another ex-user, Daniel Fong, commented, Japanese companies leaving China still have many other places to invest, but China losing these companies will mean losing many job opportunities. Returning to the start of the program, the news of SAIC Volkswagen's permanent factory closure has once again drawn attention to Shanghai, dubbed the Magic City, and considered the center of China's economic lifeline. Shanghai, which has long been a symbol of the CCP's prosperity and a key part of its economic showcase, is now under question. What is the current state of the city? Let's see some recent footage from Shanghai. In the video, subtitles display, the once crowded Shanghai bus terminal has become so desolate, the waiting hall has no air conditioning, and there's no manned ticket windows, and almost all the shops on the second floor are closed. Is this due to the economic downturn, or is the bus industry fading into history? Mr. Y, a financial expert from Shanghai, remarked, Shanghai, as one of China's earliest commercial ports, opened more than 100 years ago, had already become the leading international metropolis in the Far East by the 1920s, earning the title of China's financial capital. However, since the CCP took power in 1949, Shanghai began decades of hardship and decline. By the late 1980s, Shanghai had not only lost its status as an international city, but also appeared dilapidated compared to the newly opened special economic zones like Shenzhen. Mr. Y continued, at the time, the leader of Shanghai was Jiang Zemin, the former CCP head. During his governance, Shanghai, even as the economic center of China, struggled with basic food supplies. They launched the Vegetable Basket Project, supposedly to solve the food problems for Shanghai residents. This was a tragic fate of the former financial capital of Asia under CCP control. By the early 20th century, China joined the World Trade Organization, and foreign investment poured into the country, sparking an economic boom. In just 20 years, China became the world's factory, controlling key global supply chains. During this economic surge, Shanghai, with its solid financial and industrial base, once again became a modern city attracting global attention. Despite its outward appearance of luxury, Shanghai hides many dark and dangerous realities, which we will explore in future programs. The pandemic, which swept across China at the end of 2019, caused 3 years of lockdowns, severely damaging the economy, and Shanghai was hit especially hard. Although many cities across China have suffered from serious economic decline, the current state of Shanghai, the country's financial hub, and the CCP's pride and joy has shocked many. According to some local residents, walking through Shanghai's shopping malls now feels like being in a post-apocalyptic movie. The reality of Shanghai today is almost unbelievable. Many large companies are laying off employees, while smaller companies are barely surviving on the brink of bankruptcy. Some have already stopped paying wages. My husband had his salary cut by 30% in June, and our neighbors, a couple, were both laid off last month. In the first half of this year alone, 12,000 companies left Shanghai. Just imagine how many people that affects. Even the once coveted big internet companies and high-paying financial industries are now laying off thousands of employees. Mr. Y revealed, a friend of mine, who was born and raised in Shanghai and has worked at a state-owned enterprise for over 20 years, told me that her department, which used to have dozens of people, now only has a handful left after cutting 90% of the staff. The external image of Shanghai remains bright and luxurious, with modern infrastructure, but its internal weakness and decline can no longer be hidden. It's widely known that China's state-owned enterprises offer the best benefits and the most stable returns, yet even they are in such dire straits. One can only imagine the state of foreign and private enterprises in China. In recent years, the deep intertwining of the US and Chinese economies has been unraveling, with a clear trend of decoupling. In the high-tech sector, the US has imposed unprecedented sanctions and safeguards against the CCP, which is affecting downstream industries and supply chains. The business communities of Europe, South Korea, Taiwan, and Japan are following the US's lead, accelerating the trend of reducing investments and withdrawing from China. The fundamental reason for this shift is the recognition that China's economy is largely supported by foreign technology and investment. Once the CCP fully controls the supply chain and seizes manufacturing technology, all foreign companies in China could face catastrophic consequences. At the same time, foreign investors have realized that as soon as they start withdrawing from China, the country's economic decline and imminent collapse become visible. China's severe economic downturn has significantly reduced foreign consumption. Foreign companies are now reluctant to share advanced technology with the CCP, while the market for low to mid-end products in China offers diminishing profit margins. Additionally, the rising social unrest and instability of the regime further increase the risks for foreign businesses. With this understanding, the continuous closures of SAIC Volkswagen and Panasonic's factories in China only mark the beginning of a broader exodus of foreign companies from the country. This is just the start.